Welcome, SACNAS Nation. I'm honored to introduce Dr. John Matsui for the 2014 SACNAS Distinguished Professional Mentor Award. Before I talk to you a little bit more about how awesome John is, I'd like to briefly introduce myself. My name is Corey Welch. I'm a first-generation low-income scientist with a background in ecology and evolutionary biology, and I'm from Billings, Montana, and a member of the Northern Cheyenne Nation. Little shout out to Lame Deer. I've been involved with SACNAS since 1998, and I am an alumni of the SACNAS Leadership Institute, which John was very supportive in getting me to apply and support for that program. For the past 3 years, I've been working with John as a research coordinator for the Biology Scholars Program, and during that time, John has been a trusted colleague, mentor, and friend. John is the director and co-founder of the Biology Scholars Program, and he's nationally known for his work with underrepresented students, and he continues to challenge our institutions of higher learning to become more equitable environments for minorities, low-income, and first-generation students. I have very little time to kind of tell you about John, so basically to kind of give you a sense of his impact, there's about 3,000 of you in this room. In the last 22 years, John has trained over 3,000 students to get their undergraduate degrees and professional degrees in the biological sciences and other STEM fields. I think that deserves a quick clap. So. John grew up low income and first generation. He was a student that struggled when he was a student. And he transferred from a community college to UC Berkeley, and so he understands kind of the feeling of being an outsider in a higher institution, and he's brought that passion to his work. John saw, and to an extent still sees, a significant problem with how we train and educate our STEM students. All too often, our educational system takes a student with a passion for science and kind of metaphorically and sometimes literally, OChem, beats it right out of them. And this system disproportionately affects underrepresented students. So John sees this injustice and it angered him. And the result of that passion is that he started the Biology Scholars Program. So the next time you're in a hospital, a BSP alumni might be your surgeon. It might be your emergency room physician or your general practitioner. It might be your next cancer breakthrough researcher as a BSP alum. Finally, as some of you may have heard, I'm going to be leaving the Biology Scholars Program in the next couple of weeks. So that's your 2-week notice. Just kidding. I just would like to take the opportunity to thank John for his support and mentorship these last 3 years as I make my own transition to running my own programs at Iowa State University. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you very much.
So good evening, everybody. Good evening. Let me start off with a quote. This was what was said to me 23 years ago when I started the Biology Scholars Program. Don't waste your time and talent on a feel-good program for students who don't belong here at Berkeley in the first place. Can you believe that? This was the admonishment of one of my senior colleagues who was just trying to give me some good advice as I started BSP. Since then, in 1992, when I started the program, I have worked with over 3,000 Berkeley undergraduates. 60% of them have been underrepresented minorities, 70% have been women, and 80% have been first-generation low-income students. Individuals from this background at Berkeley, all else being equal, are twice as likely as their classmates to go on academic probation and be dismissed from the university. Some individuals, such as my colleague who told me that advice in the beginning, see this statistic as evidence of Cal's flawed admissions policy, admitting so-called less qualified students who, in the opinion of some of my colleagues to this day, aren't really Berkeley material. Now, it is true that on average, my students enter Berkeley with lower SAT scores and lower high school GPAs. However, my students have graduated in equal percentages with biology degrees and with final UC GPAs equivalent to biology majors at large. The bottom line is we have defied the statistics, and we have done this together. There's a pro sports team down the road, a little south of Berkeley, that reminds me a lot of BSP. And this is the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's and BSP recruit individuals who are undervalued in terms of the contribution they can make. These individuals at first, nobody wants, but after BSP and after the A's work with them, they become the all-stars that everyone must have. So in closing, as I humbly accept this award, I'd like to thank the SACNAS community. I'd also like to thank my wife, my friends, and my colleagues who, over the last 23 years, have been in my corner. But most especially, I'd like to thank the students of BSP, past, present, and future, who've inspired me to keep up the fight, who, as health professionals, researchers, faculty, and also policymakers, will make this world a better and more just place for all. Thank you all very much.